Morning with the Vikings. Today is March 19th and it's a day one schedule.
Course selection is a very informative week. We can learn more about classes and how to select the ones you want.
Selecting your classes here at WHS is very important for both college and benefiting you academically.
Here we have Anamias and Bobby with more about course selections.
Course selection is right around the corner at WHS, and at Wake Up Winthrop, we want to provide the students of Winthrop High School with some suggestions on which classes they should take. As course selection takes place next week, it is very important for students to know what classes they have to choose from. Ranging from drama, to digital media, to longships, and AP classes, there is a wide variety of courses for students to choose from at WHS. We caught up with Mrs. D'Amico for more information about course selection, as well as a few students to get their recommendations on what classes to take.
Course selection starts for students next week. It will start the window will be open on Monday, the 22nd. Right now, your teachers are going through IPASS and making recommendations for you that you can't see yet, but you will be able to see them starting Monday the 22nd, and that will go until that Friday, which is the 26th. So you have from the 22nd to the 26th to make your choices for next year. You have about a week, so you have from Monday to Friday. But if over that that weekend you have any questions and you say, I maybe I want to make a change, or I want to ask my guidance counselor or something, you're always welcome to come in and talk to us. And even if the window's closed, we can make that change in IPASS. I'd rather have you ask us a question about your classes for next year and make sure it's the way you want it, rather than make a mistake. So course selection is super important because it's your classes for the following year. And if you've ever gotten a schedule, which I hope none of you have, but if you've ever gotten a schedule that you say, I didn't pick this, right? I didn't want this class. Who picked this for me? That might be because you didn't pick your classes from the year before. So you want to make sure that you actually take the time and the energy and to actually think, what do I want to take next year? Whether it's a senior or whether you're going to be a sophomore. It's super important to go through and make sure what you want is on there. It's also really important to have alternatives. So if you put an elective down and let's say it's the same period as another class, so you don't get it, you want to make sure that you put an alternative. So I know in the summer when I'm doing the schedules, you know what, Bobby put down advanced gym, but I can't give it to him because it's at the same period as AP class. What does he want? So the alternative, I would look down, and as long as he lists one, he would get that class instead. So it's really important to put alternatives down, so that way I don't call you in July and ask you what you want to take for your courses for the following year. So any other tips I would give you for course selection is really take your time and think about really what you want to take. As you get older, you guys know you have more and more choices. Freshman year, you kind of don't have as many as you end up having junior year. So it's really important to tell me what you want to take. The second thing is to really listen to your teachers and their recommendations. They know the expectation for the following year. So for English, math, history, they know what that next class is going to be like. So if they're recommending you for CP or honors, really listen to that because they know what the challenges are going to be for the following year, far more than you and I do. So, and they know your style of learning. So I would say to really pick your teachers' brains and ask them what they think is best for you for the next year.
So my advice for any underclassmen with course selection, and I think this will help you, I believe there's a fine line between pushing yourself and being too far out of your comfort zone. What I mean by that is I think you should always try to advance your schedule a little bit more. So take a little bit more difficult classes such as APs, but never go, crazy and do, all honors class if you were taking, mostly CP the last year. Jump from no APs to 3 APs if you're doing the sophomore to junior jump. So I would say push yourself, like I said, but just don't go crazy because, pushing your limits too far, you may struggle. You may do great, but that's my advice.
So advice I would give for course selection, really take your time and know what you're getting into. I really took my time as an underclassman and as a junior, and I balance my classes as a senior. I'm taking some honors classes and AP classes, but make sure you can handle the work and make sure they're classes you enjoy and can manage.
So my suggestion for underclassmen is definitely take classes that you're interested in and
Yeah, my only suggestion is don't take classes that you think are just going to be easier. Take classes that you're going to be interested in and do well in.
My advice would to be ask people who have already taken classes what classes you think they should or shouldn't take, because this year I'm taking classes that maybe I think I should have asked upperclassmen of what they thought about the class, because I kind of didn't really know what I was getting myself into. So I would definitely ask and make sure you have balance in your schedule, because if you take all APs junior year, you're just going to be a ball of stress. So kind of have balance.
A class or an elective that I could recommend taking, obviously DigVid. I'm here right now. I've loved every second of it. It's a very group-oriented class where you're going to be working with a lot of partners and making awesome projects. Quite honestly, it's helped me jump out of my shell a little bit in school and really in life. So I really recommend you give it a try. But anything you're interested in, I would say pursue that.
One course that I suggest students sign up for if they're looking for an elective or something more fun to take, I would suggest drama. I suggest this course because I think it's a great refresher from all your other classes. Miss Kalinda is a great teacher, and normally the class has a lot of fun playing the games or doing the activities. Some of the activities just include scene making, script writing, a little bit of acting, but nothing too serious. You can sort of just go your own way with whatever you really want to do with the scripts, and Miss Kalinda is usually totally cool with it. So I definitely suggest that people take either exploration, drama, or advanced drama.
So my favorite class that I've taken was probably R2 with Miss Moore, because she gives you broad assignments and you kind of get to do it with what you want. It's an easier class, but if you like art, I would definitely recommend taking that.
One of my favorite electives has definitely been Psych. It's such a good class. I really recommend it for kids that are younger.
My favorite elective, I'm taking it right now, is AP Environmental Science with Miss Baker. The class is just fun and you learn a lot, and she's a great teacher. So
an elective I would recommend would be drama with Miss Kalinda. It's a very laid-back class, but you really learn a lot from her. I got to work with the life skills kids, and I had a blast in that class. I took it 2 years in a row. We got to do plays at the Four Banks and everything, and I just learned so much from that class, and I really recommend it to underclassmen.
Now that we have a few suggestions for classes, I think we're ready for course selections. What classes are you going to pick? That's pretty much it. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Adamas and Bobby. Make sure to turn in your course selections for next year.
Our fall 2 athletes have begun their seasons and are already off to a great start.
Winthrop High School Volleyball has already had their first games to get the season rolling, and our track team just had their first meet on Thursday.
Now we have Cal for more information about track and volleyball.
Winter sports teams are pushing through the difficult season, and despite the challenges of COVID-19, the Vikings are fighting hard to make waves in the NEC. This week on Wake Up Winthrop, we are going to recap the volleyball team as well as the girls and boys track team to see what they have in store for the rest of the season. The girls volleyball team is going strong, sitting with a comfortable 2-2 record, but that doesn't mean to stop working hard. They played yesterday against Swampscott, but because of the time, we cannot provide the score. Their next match is Tuesday, March 23rd against Saugus, and are looking to take the dub. We caught up with the head coach to find out what they're expecting going into the rest of the season.
Despite this year being different, we are hopeful for a great season. It's really nice to see all the players back together and laughing and having fun, and that's just really our main focus. As long as the players are there, having fun, enjoying it, that's what matters. Obviously, we have the goal of winning as many games as possible this season and having a good record. Other than that, communication on the court and not getting down on ourselves are other goals that we have. We have already noticed great improvement in both of these areas. For example, yesterday we played Salem. In the third set, we were down 16-0, so we were off to a rough start. Rather than just give up and say, okay, we'll just get it back in the next set, the team kept fighting, they didn't give up, they gave it their all, and they ended up coming back and winning that set. My goal as a coach this year is to make the season as great as possible. For the seniors, it will be their last time playing, so I want to make it memorable for them. And for the returning players, I want to help them focus on their individual and team skills so they're as prepared as possible for next year.
Now on to track. The boys and girls are amped up to take on their first opponent, Swampscott, this Wednesday. The boys and girls would have had their first meet yesterday against Saugus, but due to the weather, they were not able to play. Keep working hard on the track, and the Winthrop track teams will be sure to make waves in the NEC. We caught up with the head coach and some players to find out the scoop.
So when we have a bunch of new athletes like we do this year, our focus is on primarily teaching good habits, things that will be that will contribute to lifelong healthy living as well. Track is something that, if you have the basics of a training program down, you can continue to do the things that make you successful on a track team throughout your life, even when you're not a part of the team anymore. So on the team, we're looking for everyone to get just a little bit stronger, a little bit faster every single day. So our individual goals for each guy are going to be a little bit different. For someone, it might be running 2 miles for the very first time without having to stop. For others, it might be a time goal. You want to run the 1,000 under 3 minutes. Or it could be winning every single chance you get to compete this year. So we do have a wide range of what we're looking for from our guys this year. And again, we kind of take those day by day and look for just a little bit of improvement each day. And I think that'll bring us a lot of success if we can hit that.
I think our main goal for this season, obviously, numbers, we just don't have a lot of numbers, falling in the fall 2 slot for sports. So a lot of other sports have taken guys. So our main goal is to improve as a whole, just individually, and help each other get there. Winning meets is obviously going to be hard with the limited amount of guys that we have, being like 5-6 of us. It's just the reality. Unless we're going up a team with similar numbers to us, it's hard. It's going to be hard, obviously, to do that. But I think our main goal with the few number of guys as we have is to help each other improve individually, and for hopefully if some guys are going to go into spring track or continue to do track for the next following years of high school, that they can then get a jump start and know what they're going to be expecting later on.
Our biggest goal as a team this year is to try and win as many meets as possible, since we only have 4 this season due to COVID. It's a little upsetting because we don't have states or NECs, anything like that, which we won last year, so that's kind of upsetting, but it's still exciting. At least we get to run. And I think that we'll win the most meets and stuff by working hard and really uplifting each other after every race.
My goal for this track season and going into the next season is to be able to throw 40-foot with the shot put. Just not having a season last year because of spring track obviously falling during the height of COVID. It lost time to kind of progress and get better at it. So now with the back-to-back spring and winter track seasons, that's kind of my goal, not just for this season, but to continue until the end of spring track.
My biggest goal to achieve this year is to jump 4.8, because I've not done that since freshman year. And I'm going to achieve it by working harder in practices and trying my hardest in meets. Our biggest competitor is Swampscott, and they have had a really good team in the past. And I think we will win against them if we all try our hardest and we run our hardest. We have a really young team this year, so us seniors have been trying to help them accommodate to track and how different it is this year. And our goal this year is to really push each other and try our hardest and to not be afraid to lose a race, because with these times it's really difficult to bond as a team, but I think we will do really good this season.
Personally, I think the most things that we can improve on is kind of pacing and how to run certain races, because it is kind of an art form. Believe it or not, kind of corny words, but it kind of is, knowing, hey, you have to pace yourself for this race because you can't do a full sprint, but then again, you can't just jog the whole thing. So it's definitely a technique thing to know, hey, how you have to do certain things, if it comes to just running or shot put in general. You just have to know what you're doing in order to succeed at it, because you can't just run or throw and just expect to be the best at it. You have to kind of know what you're doing and the best way to do it.
So every year when we sit down to start to look at our schedule, and figure out who we're matching up with and who we have a real good chance to beat. We always focus on Saugus. They've been pretty equal to us the last couple of years. Our meets have come down to a couple points here, a couple points there. So we like to focus on matchups with them. And I anticipate this year will be similar. I think they're going to have similar numbers challenges for their team that we do, which means that in our division, we will still be competitive with them and hopefully a couple of other schools. We anticipate that Swampscott's probably going to be the best in the division. They always have a ton of people come out for a team. And like I said, that really helps build success to have enough people to fill out every single event. We tend to think that we need at least 15 and probably closer to 20 athletes to really compete for the division championship or even long-term a conference championship. And we don't have quite those numbers this year. I think a lot of teams are like I said, are in that similar situation. So this will be a really unique season for us competitively. And until we get into the middle of it, it's really hard to say where we're going to stack up against other teams.
As you can see, the teams all around are fighting hard on the court and on the track, and all are expecting big things for the season and what it has to bring. Good luck to all of the Fall 2 sports teams. Make sure to check out these games on the Winthrop Viking Sports YouTube page. That's it for this segment. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Kyle, and good luck to our Fall 2 athletes and coaches for the rest of the season.
Up next, we have a very special segment with Alexis Talent and me.
Let's head to Skylar and Alexis' cooking segment.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the kitchen. We'll be your hosts. I'm Skylar Zapula.
And I'm Alexis Talent. Today in the cooking segment, we are going to be making our very own garlic knots.
These are the ingredients that you're going to need in order to make them.
What you're going to need is 13 ounces of pizza dough, 5 tablespoons of melted butter, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of dried oregano, 3 tablespoons of finely grated Parmesan, and 1 tablespoon of finely chopped parsley.
Next, you want to coat a pan with some cooking spray. I'll lay down some flour before you put your dough down. Next up, you're going to grab your dough and then you're going to lay it out flat. Alright, so basically you're going to cut all of your strips about this big and you want 12 of them so you can tie them into the knots. Now that we have our mixture made, we're going to spread it evenly across the knots. So we're going to want to put this into the oven for about 10 to 12 minutes or until it's golden brown. Once they're done cooking, you want to take them out and then let them cool down, and once they're ready, you can eat them and enjoy it.
Thank you, Alexis and Skylar. All that food looks so good.
It was mad good. Now that's all we have for you guys this week. Make sure to tune in next week and roll bikes.